Next question. What are your views on the landfill expansion? Yeah, I believe first.
I think most of you know. We didn't know that landfill expansion was coming. I found out from the mayor, and in turn Ken Anderson was our rep from the county board. And Ken was also on that committee to expand that landfill. He never came to us and told us anything. It was already through committee when we found out. And he talked to the mayor said, well, Chuck's pretty upset. So he called me and I said, yeah, you bet I'm upset. I said, why weren't we told? Well, he had different excuses, and I said, okay, if we're stuck with this thing, why can't Cortland get so much a ton? He said, well, if we give it to Cortland, we got to give it to everybody. Everybody don't live by Cortland, or by the landfill. We do. And we were took. And if there was something we could do with an attorney to spend your money, we would do it. But I don't believe we stand a chance. I truly don't. It's going to happen, and the EPA is going to say it's going to happen, and there's nothing that we can do.
We did approach the county and try to tell them our concerns and to basically say no. The county's opinion was not, oh, Cortland don't want it, so okay, we won't do it. That's not what we got. We're going to do it anyway, and then I started learning what the criteria are and what takes place in order to make those decisions. First, I learned that there's a set of 9 criteria that if the applicants can meet those 9 criteria, no one, including the Illinois Pollution Control Commission that makes the ultimate siting decision, can say no if those 9 criteria are met. Facing that Waste Management submitted the application, we knew that they wouldn't have submitted the application if they knew that they didn't meet the 9 criteria. So now you're facing going up against a $14 billion corporation and try to prove that their 9 criteria were not met properly, which means you hire consultants and experts and pay them tens of millions of dollars that Waste Management paid their consultants tens of millions to make sure they met those 9 criteria. Once we found out we really couldn't stop it, the only other thing is, well, what can we do? What can we get? How can we be heard? The county had no desires to hear our complaints or hear our concerns. Waste Management actually approached the town and said, you know, we really don't think it's fair that Cortland gets cut out of this deal. Every community that we're in and we're close to, they get something out of it. And we feel you guys need to be heard and you should get something. So there was a negotiation put together. We told them what our concerns are. We got increased protection zones. We got well water monitoring zones increased from a half a mile to a mile around the circle of the landfill. We got property value guarantees increased from a half a mile that the county agreed to. I'm going to go a little longer because everybody else did. So we got those increased. We got extra litter patrols established. And also they decided that we should be compensated, and we ultimately negotiated a promise for $1 million if the expansion is allowed. We have never run around the community and championed saying, yes, we want this, we want it, we want it. We were never money motivated to say we want this to happen. But in turn, we did agree not to try to fight and spend money to make them stop. Waste Management knew themselves that we couldn't make them stop or we couldn't make it go away, but we could be a pester, we could make them spend more money, and they chose to give us the money rather than spend it against us to prolong it. That's the bottom line. So that's kind of where it's at. We tried our best to make as many protections as we could get for it and have our voices heard, and that's where it's at.
I think it's really all over with the shouting. made. It was made some time ago by this board. It was done, open meetings. Unfortunate thing is that there really was nobody there to hear the discussion that was going on, and there was no media coverage at the time, and I don't think anybody really went out of their way to go to the public by way of the newsletter where you read all about our fun stuff that's going on, that you would even know about this till all of a sudden, somehow, way, shape, or form, this information got kind of leaked out there. It's a huge quality of life issue for some people, and I will appreciate that. That having been said, I think the decision as far as how this should have been pursued should have been taken to the public, if nothing else, in the way of just some fact finding to see how this was going to sit with the residents before the town entertains and taking basically $1 million and some benefits to look the other way. That just kind of rubs me the wrong way. But other than that, I think it's going to happen.
Any follow-up, or move on to the next question?
I'm going to stick to what I said. There was nothing we could do. And what the mayor told you was one of the few things that I'm going to agree with, but he told you the truth. We got took. And that's the way it is. If we could stop it, if the citizens said stop it, we would stop it. The EPA is going to have the final word. And there's just nothing we could do and nothing we can do.
Just to set the record straight, I don't really like being accused of lying. I don't lie to people, so I kind of take offense to being called a liar.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next question. I believe this one goes to